and welcome to another video. So, first of all, big thank you for the shout out by the Retro Bear. Loved your N64 video, by the way. Thought it was really cool. Certainly some I'd never thought of picking up, like the Rugrats game. Wouldn't really have crossed my mind, to be perfectly honest with you. But I suppose that's just different tastes in games. But really liked the video. Thought it was really cool. Definitely related a lot to your kind of taste in games and whatnot. But yeah, one thing I did note from your shout out video, however, is that I do a lot of collection videos, and that got me thinking maybe I should do a mix up, make it different, do some different stuff. So the next couple of videos are going to be very different. This week is going to be my top 10 GameCube games, because we're kind of getting to the point now where I've kind of talked about most collections aside from the huge ones. Ignore the fact my Saturn one has grown a bit more recently, so never mind. However, this week I'm just going to be kind of going down the list of GameCube games. These are in order, sort of. Not so much the bottom 5, those kind of all share like a honorary 6th place, but yeah. So for the bottom 5, they won't be in any particular order. Then I'll do some honorable mentions. Then I'll talk about my top 5, which is what I'm always more interested in. Always more interested in the top 5 than the top 10. But beginning with number 10, again, no particular order for the bottom 5, Mario Kart Double Dash. You know what? I'm going to go out, I'm just going to throw it out there. Best Mario Kart game I've ever played. And I played 8, I've played 7, I played DS back in the day, I've played a bit of Wii, and I have played Mario Kart 64, very good. In fact, I've played Super Mario Kart as well. So yeah, I've got a whole host of Mario Kart games. Nothing quite beats Double Dash's pretty sick gimmick of switching characters on the fly. And you know what? I kind of had to mix it up the other day, because I always play as Wario and Waluigi, because I love Wario and Waluigi, and if they could show up in the next Super Mario Bros. Movie, all on board for that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But I decided to play as Bowser and Bowser Jr. just because I thought it'd be kind of fun. Again, kind of based off of that Super Mario Bros. Film and Jack Black's excellent portrayal of Bowser. But yeah, just good. Very good. Very solid game. Very solid kart racer. One of my favourites. I may do a video on my favourite down the line, but we'll see. Next up, now this game is one I have had on and off for about 19 years. So, long time. Probably around the time I was 10, 11, whenever I got my GameCube. I think that was 2003, 2000. Oh no, it might have been 2002. No, 2003. This came with it. So we got it for Christmas that year. And it came with a whole bunch of games. One of which is sitting... well, a couple of which are in this particular stack. But this game is not very good. It sucks on a cellular level. But I really can't bring myself to not put Jeremy McGrath's Super Crossworld at number 9. It's appalling. But it is purely there based on nostalgia. It's still a lot of fun. It's not Excitebike 64, which I do enjoy. This, yeah, like I played it the other day because our what was this, a couple of weeks ago? Our friend was over, and we played this, and even he admits it's not very good, but yeah, pure nostalgia factor. Moving on. This one's a collection, and it's, if you actually watched my Sonic video, which if you did, you're one of the very few. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's probably the second longest video on my channel that isn't the Games Room tour, and I freaking love Sonic. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch Sonic, that's fine, but Sonic Gems collection is here strictly for 2 reasons. Number 1, Sonic R. Number 2, Sonic the Fighters. Both of which are, again, very much in my guilty pile, my guilty list of pleasures. But, my list of guilty pleasures. There's the one. But you know what? I love Sonic R. I had this version first. I tracked it down on Saturn because I enjoyed it so much from the Gems release. It's just, yeah. Solid game. I got that for like, solid collection. I got that for like 10 quid, maybe 12 years ago, and it has shot up in price since then, astronomically. Which is a shame, because more people should be able to play Sonic Gems collection. I think it's on PS2 as well, so that's probably a cheaper version of it if you're really looking for Sonic Gems collection. No Xbox port ever, which is odd. That had a few Xbox games. Sorry, that had a few Sonic games, but nothing quite like that. Moving on to a game I am really bad at. I'm really bad at it. It's stupid fast. It's the last major title in the franchise, and that's FZero GX. I love this game in its sheer insanity, its sheer speed, and I did 30 laps. A lap takes a minute, if you do it right. So 30 minutes of hyper intense concentration last time I played this game, and it really hurts your eyes after about 20. So it's a game to play in bursts, and I kind of see why we're never going to get another F-Zero unless Nintendo comes up with some kind of wacky brand new idea for the franchise, which is a shame because I think we'd all like to see Captain Falcon leap out of his bloody blue falcon and punch whoever the fat samurai is. His name escapes me. But yeah, I really like this game. I've recently been getting into it. Really been getting into it. And trying to get better at it. Another game I played a couple of weeks ago when our friend was over, and even he was like, he's a bit more of a PC gamer than I ever will be. But even then, like that level of control and that level of twitchiness is not something he was accustomed to. Moving on, number 6, and this normally would be at the top of the list for pretty much anybody. It kind of sits at number 6 for me, and there's a fun story with Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee. This was the first console game I ever owned, jointly with my sister back in the day when we owned the GameCube together, because it was a joint Christmas present, and we got this. We were on a trip to abroad, and we were in game at the time, in the airport, and this fell off the shelf. I don't know why it had the game in it. That was quite odd. It fell off the shelf as my mum hit her head on it, or it fell on her, one of the two, and it fell in her bag. So we get abroad and she finds it in her bag and she's like, oh my goodness. But you know what? Worth it. It was fate. And this game, not quite my favourite Smash Bros. Certainly up there. Recently been finding how much I enjoy playing Ice Climbers. It's a lot. But yeah. My favourite is 4, by the way, if anyone's interested. Ultimate, technically, but 4 more so. As bad as Smash Party is. And nothing will quite top Brawl's single-player content. I think we could all agree on that. But I think 4 more so for the kind of cross-functionality between the DS version and the Wii U. That, and I love the Wii U. But yeah. Melee, solid fighting game. So that's halfway through. We are halfway through, and these next 3 are just going to kind of be some honourable mentions. The games I really like, but games that didn't quite make the grade. Again, Jeremy McCraft was strictly nostalgia, and these games are 100,000 times better than it, but here we are. Crystal Chronicles. I'm a big Crystal Chronicles fan, but strictly the first game. which is weird because I have all of them. I have every single one, except for My Life as a Dark Lord, because I never got around to actually downloading it before the Wii shop went down. Thanks, Nintendo. That's great. If anyone has an idea on how to get that game like native to a Wii, let me know, because I want to know. If someone's doing some kind of homebrew port onto a disc with My Life as a King, that would be very nice as well. But I get it if not. I know the Wii homebrew scene isn't huge. It's not massive. It would be nice, but I'd probably just have to hack the Wii, wouldn't I? Which would be a pain in the ass, and I can't be asked to do that. Maybe I'll just buy one. We'll see. I don't know. But Crystal Chronicles, really solid dungeon crawler. And I hate dungeon crawlers on a cellular level. This is the sole exception to that rule. They're just not for me. They're just not my cup of tea. I find them grindy and boring and just really, really crap. This, though, this is one of those games I wish I could play multiplayer, because it had the old... It was a rare thing on the GameCube, but it was kind of almost detrimental to it, which was this. You could only play the game if you had, with 4 people, if they all had a Game Boy SP, all of them had a Game Boy Link cable, and you all plugged it in on the same fucking day. Not great. The other one that did that was Four Swords Adventures. And as a result, Four Swords Adventures is not on this list. But Crystal Chronicles edged that out for honourable mentions anyway. But, yeah. It's a shame. That's kind of what nudged it off of the top 10. To be honest with you. Lack of multiplayer. Speaking of lack of multiplayer. No. The Lost Kingdom duology. I like these. Like, the GameCube had a weird influx of about 5 different RPGs that were all card-based. They had card-based combat in some capacity. You had these two. You have both the Bait and Katos games, which are out in... I want to say September. I think they're out in September 2023. Not that I'm dating this video, but... Yeah, those are coming out on Switch, which is nice. With none of the dubbing, which is not nice. I've played Bait and Katos. Awful. No, just not my cup of tea. These, though, very much my cup of tea. It's probably because they're more action-orientated, and they're kind of weird. Like, these are FromSoft. These are From Software. These are Dark Souls games. Well, not Dark Souls games, but by the developers, and it's not like FromSoft wasn't making stupidly difficult stuff around that time, but these really aren't, but they are fun. And the multiplayer is kind of a bit naff. I'm debating on starting a new series involving forgotten multiplayers, and I think these two will potentially be contenders for that. But we'll see. So yeah, that's my honourable mentions. Moving on to the top 5. At number 5, and these are in order. Number 5... Okay, you know what? I'm just going to preface this. None of these are Zelda. None of these are Zelda. None of these are Mario. They're all games that are kind of just my cup of tea. I don't typically prescribe to the typical top 5s or the top 10s of consoles that people have. For example, my top 10 games does not include Skyrim in any capacity. It doesn't include Fire Emblem. It doesn't include... Final Fantasy VII. If anything, I found that game a slog, and so I got rid of it. As a result, it should be no one's surprise that Doshin the Giant is at number 5. This is a weird ass game. If you're in America, which maybe you are, round the release of Cubivore for the GameCube, Nintendo of America had the choice of releasing that or Doshin the Giant. And Europe will get whatever they didn't settle on. They decided to Cubivore for some reason. We got Doshin over here, and you know what? We lucked out because this game is still affordable. It's not £400, which is great. It's like 100 now. But this is kind of a god game where you control a big giant kind of lumbering around a village, around a series of villages on an island in the middle of the sea, and helping them out or destroying them if they get on your wick, which they were subject to today, using Monsieur Hate Giant. Besides, that dude can fly. It makes travelling so much easier. But Doshin's a really chill game. It's kind of one of those cozy games where you don't have to take it too seriously. I know I'm never going to finish this, but I don't really need to. I can just kind of wander around and have fun with it. It's a really solid game. Really love it. Here's another controversial pick. Controversial pick for number 4, Geist. I love this game. I love the concept of playing as a ghost, and you have to scare people and you possess them and then you do a bunch of puzzles and a bunch of combat. The reason I love this game so much, however, is the multiplayer. The multiplayer is freaking solid. It is freaking solid. This will also be on Forgotten Multiplayer if I ever get around to making that series. Really solid multiplayer. Bots, which is always a plus, especially for me. I love bots. Absolutely adore them. Any game with bots is immediately on my yes please list. But Geist is kind of the quintessential shooter for me on the Switch, on the GameCube. And it's a pity this didn't take off in any capacity. I could see this being made today, actually, and it'd be really, really solid. Throwing ghosts into an arena-style shooter multiplayer, and then having a hunt mode where you have Spec Ops guys with anti-ghost weapons versus ghosts who can possess them and shove them into traps. Brilliant. Love it. I miss you, N-Space. I miss you making decent stuff and not the general garbage you've been making. Or if you're still around, I don't even know. Speaking of games with multiplayers that aren't really talked about, but really, really, really should be, Star Fox Assault is number 3. This is my single favourite Star Fox game. Now, I've got all of them, except for 2, because I'm yet to find a decent repro cartridge that isn't 80 quid, which is insane. Maybe I'll just go ahead anyway. Screw it. But Star Fox Assault, I love this game. I played through most of it over a period of a couple of days, and before I hit and it was really easy, and then you hit the final boss and it's actually really, really hard. So, great, fantastic. I'm taking a bit of a break from it, but this game's multiplayer is fantastic. It does lack one major thing that made Star Fox 64 and the original so playable, which is it doesn't really have alternate routes, which is a shame. It's way more story focused, but that's almost a good thing. It's a solid story considering it's Star Fox. They're not really story-orientated games, but this one is, and it's really, really good. I love Star Fox Assault. I really got into it this year. I've owned it for years. Got it on the cheap, and by cheap I mean 30, oh no, it was 40 quid. It was 40 quid at the time. I know it's way more now, but got it on the cheap, and kind of sat on my shelf for years. Just kind of, there's the Star Fox game. Then I played it, and it's amazing. It's so good. It's so bloody good. Yeah, honestly. If you've got a GameCube, get Star Fox Assault and play it and talk about it. It's amazing. Now we've got my second game. My second favourite platformer on the entire GameCube. And that is Wario World. My mum bought me this. I don't really recall what for. It might have been my birthday, around about 2004, 2005. But she got me Wario World. And you know what? This game is brilliant. I only finished it a couple years ago. After, 15 years of playing the bloody thing. I finally got around to just kind of going, you know what? I'm going to beat Wario. I'm going to sit down and finish this game. And a big part of that was because back in the day, I made the fatal error of letting my brother play it. And he's a good degree younger than me, and he deleted the save that I told him not to delete. I said, you can use the first save Not the second save. He wiped the second save. And I'm still salty about it. He did it to Pokemon Blue as well. He wiped my level 73 Blastoise, and I'm never going to get that back. If you're watching this, you know that. Or you've forgotten it, and I'm reminding you now. You erased my saves of Wario World. This game's not very long. It's not very intense. I wouldn't say it's intensive, but it's freaking good fun. And plus the ability to just kind of drop your jaw and be like, wah, as you absorb coins is just always funny. In fact, it made me really question why the hell Wario wasn't in Super Smash Bros. Melee. This was before I knew we were getting another one in the form of Brawl, where he shows up. Yes, excellent. Okay, I said second favorite platformer. If anyone knows me at all, it's Sonic Adventure 2. It's Sonic Adventure 2. Battle. This is kind of the way to play this game. Physically on consoles. I've got the Dreamcast version. It's not as good. I don't recall if Big is playable in the multiplayer of that. I don't think he is. But this had better multiplayer. The Chow Garden, I think, was more in depth, if I remember correctly. Like, they added a whole load of stuff to this port, and it's just very, very good. So when we got the GameCube, this was one of the games that was included in our big fat stack of games that we got for that Christmas, which, very cool, by the way. I saw that, and I went, that's mine. That is immediately mine. My sister could have any of the others. I think she chose Finding Nemo, or the Incredibles one. I can't remember, but this was my one. This was my my GameCube game, and you know what? I still love this game. It's still my favourite Sonic game. It's on my top 10. It's on my top 10, which I will do eventually. I will do my top 10 games eventually, but we'll get around to it. Anyway, that's it for this week. That is my top 10 GameCube games. Just kind of mixing up all the collection videos I've been doing, because there are a lot of them, sharing some stories of my time with probably my first childhood console, ignoring the Game Boy Color. And you know what? Again, thanks to the Retro Bear for the shout out. If you haven't gone to his channel, go see it. It's really solid. He does a lot of what I do, but for longer and with a lot more people watching. So go and join that big old crowd. You won't regret it. Anyway, thanks guys. That's me signing off.